I'll start with Ting and Ron. So both of you are tackling AI from different angles, and one through building the modular composable agents, and Ting, you're doing a lot of research in the space. So what specific applications or use cases that demonstrate the powerful synergy between AI and crypto that you all are seeing? I'll start with you, Ting.
Yeah, sure. So I think something that I've been telling a lot of people as well is that if we call it like crypto AI, and the only reason why we're using this term like crypto AI is because we know that there's something very powerful and very unique that's going to arise out of this intersection between crypto as well as AI, but we have absolutely no idea what it is going to be. We're in such early days around all this, and AI, as we all know, is this paradigm shift in technology that is going to transform the entire world totally in the next 5 to 10 years or so. And today, I think within what we call as crypto AI, we're seeing things like GPU marketplaces, we're seeing decentralized compute, decentralized inference, we're seeing stuff like AI agents, which is what like Theoriq is working on. And I think the sort of like way I think about this is that the combination of both like crypto and AI, there are some use cases where it is very much more of like crypto lending some of its characteristics to what is being built in the AI space. And on the other hand, we can also see how AI is actually helping crypto applications and crypto projects actually like improve on either their product experience or really around things like making things a lot more easier for sort of like users to kind of like use, and that's where AI plays a very big part. I think the struggle I kind of like have is like figuring out like what the real use cases are among all these different infrastructure that we're really building out in the space. I think intuitively, to me, the most powerful and most obvious use case is really using like crypto incentives to be able to bootstrap networks, which is basically what crypto is probably the best at doing. It could be like data networks, it could be like compute networks. But I think that incentive model is going to be something that's very powerful. How can we incentivize open source development in the AI space, which is like super important.
Yeah, I think Teng brings up a good point. I definitely agree that incentives are important. In my mind, you can really get early adopters, people that are, whether they're using AI products, whether they're giving feedback on them, whether they're creating and contributing. Incentives, with tokens can really lower the bar and get adoption. But at the end of the day, you still have to have good product. You still have to have something that's compelling that people want to keep using, right? And I think the exciting thing is there's so much value you can create. There's a ton of opportunity with the powerful AI models that are now out there and all of the great data that's available in the crypto ecosystem with its transparent ethos. We're seeing use cases abound for people wanting to build agents, whether it be, I was just on an Ask Me Anything with the CEO of Bondex, a fast-growing Web3 social network, helping people understand the platform and ultimately better navigate the, career planning and finding great job opportunities with AI agents, right? We're working with just different companies like Space and Time that have indexed blockchain data with their Houston agent to make it easy to analyze data, even if you're not a technical expert, or integrate with their product. We're working with people like Filecoin Foundation to make it easy to access all kinds of rich data that's stored in Filecoin, have agents that leverage that. So there's just so much cool data and opportunity to build agents that give you insight. We're seeing a ton of interest even around trading use cases. I think a lot of times people jump to like bots, which are just sort of simple automation scripts for executing trades. But I think the real cool opportunity for people in crypto is to tap into social sentiment and tap into learnings from different influencers, different experts who analyze different aspects of the crypto ecosystem, and to have agents that can bring real-time insights to help them make the right decisions around what investments they want to make. So those are just some of the use cases, but I think when it comes to agents, there's a ton of value. And whenever people see some of the agents deployed in our protocol, I have them say like, "Hey, I tried typing that into ChatGPT, and it didn't have any insight. It couldn't answer the question. Didn't have the data." So I think there's like so much value to start driving adoption. Some of these are crypto specific use cases, prediction markets and protocol governance, but people working in crypto and have a lot of the common needs that anyone has around different businesses, like marketing or project plan management, or business development, and using agents to help make those tasks work better and automate things instead of having to spoon feed a chatbot is a really exciting direction. And I do agree that those incentives are a huge part of why it can be take off faster and you get great contributions and great feedback, unlike the slow approach of the Web2 monopolies.
Really good perspective there, Ron. One of the things that really stood out to me was yesterday. I was waking up, and usually I don't check my phone first thing in the morning, but for whatever reason, I just felt the urge to pick up my phone and look through some articles that pop up on my Apple News feed. And there was one that really stood out to me. I kind of skipped past all the political jargon, and there was one that said something about blockchain raises 2 billion in order to fight uh, basically protecting IP rights and copyright issues. And then I started digging into it, and it was a story protocol, and this kind of opens up another area where crypto and blockchain can coexist, which is around just transparency. And the more AI evolves, the more I feel like this side of the industry of blockchain technology will also grow. So I'm curious to hear from both of you. Like, how do you see uh, this form of new technology that's being created in blockchain impacting competition, innovation within the crypto industry? Teng, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I would say that AI for sure is one of the biggest like transformational changes that we have in the world today. We are clearly at very much an inflection point, and I think like in 20, 30 years, we'll look back at history and realize that, hey, this was the time that that really spurred the acceleration of like technology transforming a lot of different industries in the world. And it's very empowering AI. Suddenly you have a companion that has the entire knowledge of the internet, and you can actually access it for free or even like just pennies. But I think the challenge is that AI is also a very centralizing force, as Ron mentioned. Like, it's really very much controlled by whoever has the ability to afford the computation power in order to train these very large like and powerful AI models. And typically today is very much centered around the major entities like Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, and I think it's very important that we need like blockchain and crypto as a counter to this very powerful centralizing force. And I don't think everything in AI needs to be open source. I don't think everything needs to be decentralized, but very clearly, like decentralized AI has a very strong role to play in society if we want to enable a freer, more democratic world where AI is a very big part of all of our lives. And I think that's where it can be a very powerful philosophical reason for people to be building like interesting like applications like in the sort of like AI space. I think we all don't want to live in a world which is very much like prone to biasness. Like for example, if you were to use like ChatGPT today, there'll be like many questions that you won't be able, if you asked it, it won't be able to give you an answer. It could be even simple things like around certain medications and what is the doses that you should be taking on some of these things. And the reason is because there are a lot of filters, there's a lot of censorship, there's a lot of worries about like the safety around some of these AI models. And this, when AI is like controlled by a few entities and individuals, it becomes naturally very prone to biases, which we really don't want to see. So I think like especially like many of us all here who are very like deep into sort of the crypto space, we do share some of these like philosophical ideals as well, and we want to see AI being built on infrastructure that's very much open, accessible, permissionless, and censorship resistant. And I think these are the key characteristics that is going to be very important, even if we don't actually realize it yet today.
Yeah, and for those of you that are just joining us, you're listening to Ting, who is with Chain of Thought. He's a head researcher there, and also Ron, who's the leader at Theoriq. We're talking about AI deep in crypto, and also we've got Russell here that is going to share more about on the VC side of things. So if you're enjoying this conversation, you would like to be part of this conversation, and you want to join the community, go to, well, you can go to my profile, networkspotlight.io. You'll see the link there, and you can apply to be part of this amazing community where we have conversations like this pretty much all the time. And we get together every other week to either virtually on Google Meets or in this case on X to share what our thoughts are. Ron, I want to come back to you and kind of just get your thoughts on that article that came out about Story securing 2 billion in VC funding and basically what they're trying to tackle here and what your thoughts are, just overall impact on the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true that there's like so many layers to how AI comes together. And so, different protocols, different projects are working on important parts of it. I agree with Tang that, not everything will be fully decentralized, but I think there's different points where there's real leverage, where, it really matters to have choice. So the good news is the multi-billion dollar soon tens of billions of dollars to train state-of-the-art AI models has become somewhat commoditized, right? We've got open models that are quite good, as well as commercial models. And so it means that, whether it be, around data and data licensing like Story is working on, whether it be people that are, providing incentives to collect data or monetize it, people that are making access to compute and then model inference on top, incentives to create great models. These are all where creating models is typically more about fine tuning or refining existing models that have been put out, but making them useful for a particular use case, right? All of these are valuable use cases, right? So I think Story Protocol fits into that notion of like having funding to address one area. I think the idea of specifically how do you establish reputation and measure quality, that's a pervasive theme, right? So if they're doing it in data, we think a lot about it in terms of agents. The reason why I tend to think that agents, which tend to be the point of the spear of where people are getting value from AI, is a valuable place of measuring, is because ultimately, if you'd say, well, was it a good model? Was it computed accurately? Was the data high value? It always comes to those were ingredients that went into the recipe. But in the end of the day, the recipe is like the agent that's doing something for you. It's creating value for you. It's AI that's helping you achieve a meaningful result, right? And so I think that's starting from that point of value creation, you get the most incentives and you get the best reason to sort of then drive and give feedback. And of course, those who are creating agents have a lot of incentive to use something like Story to access data, to pay for it. And, so many other innovative projects, around data and compute and models that are in the ecosystem. So I guess to me, it's a bullish sign that there's so much funding to build this Web3 ecosystem. And I think that's the other thing to highlight is, what's great about Web3 is that you have specialized protocols doing things really well and trying to interoperate and collaborate instead of the Web 2 approach of monopolists quickly saying like, I want to do everything. And, I've talked to people at large research labs who are worried that NVIDIA is going to try to cut them off from chips and compete in building their own models. And, all of the one-time partners, right? The labs that are specialists in training AI, and suddenly like, don't look now, Microsoft just acquired an AI startup, Inception, and now they're competing with OpenAI, right? So there's very, very little that stands in the way of the greed and the boundless ambition to dominate that the billionaires in Web 2 experience. So I think it's a really gratifying thing that in Web 3 you have funding for complementary projects working together. I mean, we're partners with many of these different projects, and we think there's a lot of synergy in us coming together as a community.
Last point here for our guests is I want to just go around and if you guys can kind of give us a glimpse into what you're working on, some of the research that you're seeing on your end, Ting, and where can people find you? And then once we go through our guests, we'll open it up for others here to chime in on this topic, or just to share a little bit more about what they're working on. So, Teng, I'll start with you. Can you share a little bit more about Chain of Thought and some of the research that you're seeing?
Yeah, for sure. So at Chain of Thought, we're building the best research organization on crypto AI. And the reason is because we believe that very many extremely valuable startups will emerge from the intersection of crypto AI, and a lot around these different use cases that we actually just discussed in the panel earlier. So one of the things that we do is I run a free newsletter that actually rounds up all the most important trends in crypto AI every week, and we also look into very specific like AI projects that are very exciting to us. And you can find us at chainofthought.xyz, and it's pretty much free to subscribe. Cover all the most important things that you need to know so you don't miss out on anything. Just very quickly, I think one of the areas of research that we have been focusing on over the last 2 weeks or so is very much diving into the BitTensor ecosystem. And I think BitTensor has been a project that has given me a lot of consternation as well, because I constantly bounce between how I feel, whether I'm bullish, bearish around BitTensor. And I think I'm starting to feel that there is something pretty special like within the ecosystem. There are a lot of very smart builders that are experimenting with how we can actually create some of the most powerful state-of-the-art sort of like AI models using a very detailed incentive network. And I think that's something that I've been sort of like spending a lot of time looking at, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be sharing a bit of a research piece around some of the more interesting subnets within the BitTensor ecosystem. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I signed up for your newsletter, Ting, and I always enjoy, I don't sign up for a lot of newsletters. I don't like my feed to be cluttered, but yours is one that I look forward to every week. So thanks so much for all the amazing insights that you put out there. And People can go to Ting's profile and click on the link. He's got it in his bio, and check it out for yourself. Ron, how about yourself? I mentioned earlier what you're building, and can you give us a quick overview of Theoriq and just highlight some of the exciting developments or just some of the upcoming milestones that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Theoriq, we're really excited to make it easy for anyone to create agents. We are excited for our incentivized testnet that's coming up next month. A chance for people to get in and start interacting with collaborating agents in our protocol, give feedback. We'll be following up with the next testnet will allow no code builder so that anyone can create agents that capture their knowledge and are useful for the ecosystem. So we're really excited about getting the community involved around creating great agents that act on your behalf and can help you with tasks like investing, like making it easy to participate in prediction markets, or help you with marketing, right? There's so many different ways that agents can be helpful. And Theoriq as a protocol is really designed to make it easy to have agents work together, to make it easy to discover them and have reputation so you know which ones are quality. That's why it's so important that people have incentive to try them out and give feedback, so we have good signals for evaluators to say, hey, we know what are the agents that are useful here, right? So we think there's a ton of value there. We're super excited to get people engaged and get your feedback. We'd love to have developers building agents as well as anyone who's an expert using our no code builder, right? So we're super excited. You can also follow us on Twitter here. You can see at Theoriq AI, and we have our light paper now published on our site, theoriq.ai, and a Discord that's really active. So tons of ways to get engaged and involved, and lots of ways that you can start to learn and interact and engage and give us feedback. And we'll be having contests where people can earn on-chain, stablecoin rewards as well as points, our proof of engagement program. So yeah, we're super excited. Love your feedback. Love to have you follow us and engage in the community.
Thanks for sharing, Ron. And Justin's been part of the Network Spotlight community, and we've really enjoyed having him there and kind of share updates about what you guys are up to at Theoriq. So looking forward to following along. And again, for those that are joining us here, This is a conversation that we have pretty much on a weekly basis at networkspotlight.io. It's a Web3 founders community that's on Telegram. So if you like these conversations and you want to join the community, feel free to apply. It's free to join, but it is vetted. So yeah, be sure to check out networkspotlight.io. It's in my bio.